Hallo allemaal, welkom op mijn kanaal, welkom bij deze nieuwe video en welkom in Mike's Creatieve Wereld. Hello and welcome to this video on my YouTube channel. Nice for tuning in, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how to make this beautiful, soft, cozy, squishy blanket. It's so much fun to make this blanket, and all we're going to use is Scheepjes Big Dreams, a new yarn from Scheepjes, and it's such a lovely yarn to work with. And in this video, like I said, I'm showing you step by step how to make this blanket, and you don't need to have any experience in knitting, because the only thing we are using is the yarn and our fingers. That's it. Very easy, and I'm showing you the whole process. So grab your yarn and let's get started with knitting this beautiful, warm, cozy blanket. For the blanket you need 6 balls of this yarn, and it's big. And that's the only thing that you need, because we're going to knit with our fingers, our hands. So you don't need knitting needles or whatsoever. You just need 6 balls of this yarn and your hands. If you want a written pattern of this blanket, you can use the inside of the yarn bands. If you remove the yarn bands, you can find a written pattern of an easy hand knit blanket or a crocheted cushion. We're starting this blanket by making chains. That's how they call it. Just make the first loop. So the yarn tail is in your hands. Wrap the yarn around your hands in the back and push this tail through the loop that you have on your hands, and then you have the beginning loop. We don't use this big, just a little smaller, but not too small, at least 2-3 fingers wide, so that you have a stretchy edge at the bottom of your blanket. I hope that makes sense. The pattern says that you have to chain 21 loops, 21 chains. So how do we do that? Just insert in the loop, grab the yarn and pull it through. Then you make a loop like this. So now you've got 2 loops. The first one also counts, so 1, 2. Insert in your new loop, this one. This is the new one. Grab the yarn and pull it through that loop to make a new one. And those loops are called chains. So we've got now 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. And we need 21 to make a blanket with a size about 80 by 120 centimeters. If you want to make it wider, you chain more chains. So we're using now 21 chains. If you want to make it wider, let's say chain 10 more or chain 15 more, for example. Then you make it a lot more wider, and if you use 6 balls, your blanket will be shorter, so it won't be 120 long but shorter. If you want it longer, you need more balls of yarn. So you can adjust the width and the length of the blanket by chaining more, chaining less, make more rows to make it smaller or bigger. Okay, back to the chains. We've got 3 now, so in the new loop with your fingers, grab the yarn, pull it through. Insert in the loop, grab the yarn, pull it through. If you got all your chains, then you're ready to knit. And knitting is just pulling up loops in the already made chains. This is our first loop because it's coming from this horizontal loop. See, it's going under that loop, so this is the first one. It's going like that. This is our second horizontal loop, and we're going underneath that loop and we're pulling a new loop out of this chain. Your working yarn is here, so lay it like this, so it's above your work. Insert in the second one, grab the yarn and pull it through. See? Now you've got 2 of these loops. Believe me, this part of the blanket is the most difficult part of the whole blanket. After this row, it will be so much easier. So 2 loops, up to the next horizontal loop. It's a little smaller because we're pulled in this loop, so this one is a little tighter now, but just in that horizontal loop, pull it a little bit up, insert your fingers, grab the yarn, pull it through. Horizontal loop, insert, grab your working yarn, pull it through. Next, horizontal bar, insert, pull up a loop. If you made a chain of 21, make sure that you've got also 21 loops. If you did this, then the hard part is over. Now it's just easy. And all you do now is insert your fingers in the first loop, grab the working yarn and pull it through to make a new loop. And that's it. So the next one, insert your fingers, grab the yarn, pull it through for a new loop. The next one, insert, grab the yarn and pull through. That's it. Easy, huh? Just insert your fingers in the next loop, grab the yarn and pull it through. And that's the repeat for all the loops. And also in the last one. And when there are no stitches left anymore, because those loops are stitches, if you've got no more left, then turn your working yarn to the other side and just repeat. Just insert in the loops, grab the yarn and pull it through. Insert in the next, grab the yarn, pull it through. And that's all there is. When you're just doing this the whole time, you're knitting your blanket. And when you need to attach a new ball of yarn because you run out of yarn in this ball, just lay the little yarn tail aside, grab your new ball, lay a little yarn tail here, and then just start knitting with your new yarn. So that's also very easy. If you're more advanced at knitting with this blanket yarn, maybe you can take the next step by adding some purl stitches. And that's also very easy. The only thing you have to do is to purl is to move your yarn from the back to the front. So instead of laying the yarn on your table and pull your stitches from front through the loops, like this, that we're doing the whole time now, you just lay your yarn at the top of your work. Just finish this one. Okay, so yarn is going the other side, and instead of laying it on the table, lay it on your work. And we're not going to insert from front to back to the stitches, but we're going from the back and grab then the yarn and pull it through. Next, from back, insert, grab the yarn and pull it through. So that looks completely different, but it's also very easy to make, and you can alternate them. So I've made 3 purl stitches here. I place my yarn back at my table, and from the front I pull it through again, and now I've got a knit stitch. Next one, also a knit stitch, like this, and then let's say the last 2 are purl. So just like in regular knit work, you can do that also in this knit work. And for the next round, also purl, purl, then knit, so the yarn is in back, knit 2, and then yarn in front to purl, purl, so the yarn is in front and then you pull it through the back. See? Here the purl stitches, here the knit stitches. So you can do that a couple of rows, and maybe after 4 rows, and then you turn it over. So the purl stitches are getting knit stitches and the knit stitches are getting purl stitches. So purl stitch is getting a knit stitch, so from front pull the yarn through back to the front. The next one is getting knit, and the next one was purl, is getting a knit stitch, like that. Here are 2 knit stitches, so place the yarn in the front and pull it through the back. The next is also a knit, is coming purl, and here purl stitches, yarn at the back to make knit stitches. Okay, so they're different now. Knit stitches are getting knit stitches again. Purl is getting purl. And here are the knit stitches, so those are getting knit stitches again. And then you can see what is going on. See? If you do that in rows of 4, you're getting squares on your blanket, because the bumps of the stitch are getting to the back, and you can alternate your stitches like that, which gives another effect to your blanket. When you're done, you only have to make one more step to finish off your blanket, because your work now got active stitches or alive stitches, which means you can lose them. If you pull here on your yarn, see, they're disappearing, and you don't want that. So if you want to enjoy your blanket, you have to secure those stitches so that they won't be pulled out. How do you do that? Also very easy. You have to knit your stitches again, but when you knit a stitch, you pull it through your previous stitch. It sounds more difficult than it is. I will show you. Make sure that you've got enough yarn left to make this bind off, and to have more than enough yarn, just lay your yarn above your work like this, so from left to right, then from right to left, and another time for the middle. So 2.5 times the width of your blanket you have to have for the yarn to bind off your work. If you have less, then just rip out one row of knit work to make sure that you've got enough yarn to do this bind off. Okay, first we knit a stitch like we do the whole time. Second one also knit. So you've got 2 knitted stitches now. What you do now is to you pull the loops through each other. So your last knitted stitch is going through the previous stitch. So this one is the last knitted stitch. You can see that because the yarn is coming from that stitch. So you've knitted this stitch, and you need to pull it through the loop that you've knitted there before. So from back to front through that loop, your first loop, and grab the second loop and pull it through. That's it. So next stitch here, you need to knit that. So pull the yarn through so that you knit the stitch. Now grab this stitch and grab your knitted stitch and pull that one through the other stitch. So you've got here now an active stitch. You need to make another active stitch. If you look where your yarn is coming from this side, so you need to knit this stitch like that. So this is your next active stitch, and you need to pull it through this stitch. So grab your previous stitch, grab your last knitted stitch and pull that one through that stitch. And you can see now the loops are getting flat on your work, and that means the stitches are closed and they won't come off again. And you need to do that with all the stitches. So knit the next one. Like this. Grab your previous stitch and pull that loop through that stitch. Go through to the next one, knit it, grab your previous stitch, pull that one through, and you bind it off. The last one, knit and pull through. This is now also an active stitch. If you pull your yarn now, the whole thing is coming off. So just grab your yarn or insert your fingers in that loop. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Mine now is still attached to the ball, but this is the end of your work, and when it's all through, just pull it tight, and that's all. Then your blanket is done. The only thing now you have to do is turn your work and grab the yarn tails. Also, you've got here the beginning one, and you've also got the tails when you attach a new ball of yarn, and also at the end of your blanket you've got your end tail. You work them all away, and you're doing that by looking at the back of your blanket to all those bumps, purl stitches. You can see here all purl stitches, and work your yarn tail away under those bumps. Just grab a bump and push your yarn under it. Not too tight, just through a couple of stitches to make sure that it won't get loose. And it won't come loose. See? Like that. And then your blanket is ready. You don't see any yarn tails in the front of your work because it's worked in the bumps of the stitches. So the feet are staying intact in front of your work. And that's all. Now you're ready to make your own finger knitted blanket. I hope my explanation was good enough for you to follow to make this blanket yourself. Have lots of fun making this blanket. I enjoy it so much. I'm making more blankets now because they're warm and cozy and very fluffy and cuddly. I'm addicted to these blankets now. They're very warm also. And I would also like it if you subscribe to my channel, because in the future I will try to make more videos like this, but also other crochet knit tutorials. So if you don't want to miss them, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. You make me very happy with that, and there are no costs attached. So it's completely free. So make me happy and click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, because you also help me with growing my channel by doing that. And also feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below this video, and all further information is being linked in the description box. So that's it. I hope that you enjoy it. If you made a blanket, please share it if you have got Facebook on the international Facebook group of Scheepjes. We would love to see your blankets also, so share them in there. And I would also love it if you tag me into the Facebook group. Michael Wassenaar is my name, so please share it there. If you got Instagram, I've also got Instagram. Mike's Creatieve Wereld is also linked in the description box down below. But feel free to tag me on Instagram, tag Scheepjes, so we can see your creations. So have lots of fun, enjoy your blankets, and we will see each other in the next video. So thanks for now and see you later. Bye.